it is my job to share this great information with out there, right? As a real estate agent, that's how we should be thinking. As a real estate agent, it's my, like, I'm almost stealing if I don't share this information. Brian, so we've heard Gary Vee tell us now marketing. What does that mean to you?
It's, I look for our business, for realtors, it's about, we're looked at as just so, just kind of bottom of the barrel for salesmen. It's just, we're probably rated under used car salesmen, things like that.
They may rank ahead of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's because, and we did it to ourselves. And it's because we did all this spam emails, bulk calls, these bulk voicemails and text messages. And it's just about, hey, look at me. I sell real estate. This is a just listed I did. This is just sold. It's just all, it's nothing good. It's nothing valuable for the consumer for the most part. And that's why I think we've really put us as realtors in a place like that. And that's why I love being a real broker, because we're trying to shift that. And we're really focused on our brokerage in a whole. And this is probably one of the biggest reasons why I made the move to Real Broker was we're looking at how do we bring value to the customer. All right. So, and to any person in our sphere, or anyone that we're putting marketing to, anything that we're putting out there, how is it valuable for people?
Right.
So
it's so interesting because and obviously both of us, not obviously, but both of us have recently made a move to Real Broker. And, from the outside, people are looking in, it's like, wow, there's this revenue share and the cap's low and yes, a great stock plan, all this stuff. And yes, that was important to me as I made the move.
Right.
But in the end, when you kind of have this mindset of, it's not about me as an agent talking about, myself and how much I've sold, the whole perspective, starting with the core values at Real is, work hard, be kind. It's all consumer focused.
Yeah.
Right. And that to me just resonated like that was the light bulb for me.
Because you want to think every piece of marketing material that you put out, whether it's a print ad, an email, a post on social media, a video, whatever it is that you're putting out there, you want to think what's in it for them, not what's in it for me. So if I'm doing hey, I'm the number one realtor in town, or I'm the, best realtor in this community, is that really valuable for that person?
Right. Is that, how does that, the fact that they've sold houses, where is the upside for that? Where is the value that person says, what, gosh, I'm really going to go with him or her because they've sold so many houses.
Yeah.
Yes, you want a credibility piece, but it's where's the value?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And now it's like, what if you think like this though, if it's, you live in a certain city and something pretty big is coming to that city, what if you let everybody know about that?
Right.
Now that's valuable. That's value. So
and not only your basic, I always say our job is really to interpret the housing market, right?
Yeah.
The market's the market, right? Yeah. So it's us as pros to say, how do we interpret that? And then how do we add value? Like, how do we add value to that person? And I think that's where it just becomes, we have to come with that mindset. And so many realtors, that's why the bar, for us, the good news, the bar is pretty low. Yeah. But so many of us still go out there and I think we're all, sometimes we have that where it's about us. But if we as realtors can go out there and just say, let's add value that's different.
Yeah.
We will have, success. And
and it's better. You feel better. When I stopped doing spam marketing, I feel better.
Yeah.
I feel better about it. It always made me not feel good when I'm sending out just spam.
And spam meaning like what? Give us
just like a perfect examples is always like the just listed, just sold. It's just, they're just, for the most part, they're pretty much just spam. If I'm sending that out to my entire sphere all the time, that's spam. Any kind of generic message, bulk message of any sort is going to be spam.
Right.
So,
I mean, you look at like any of the bulk, the emails, right? That does, we talked about this before, where if it's not homemade, it's just, it's noise, and I always get, and this was from a friend of mine that she shared this example with me, like, the just listed. Well, if something's just listed, that's like terminology from like the beginning of time. And I always get this, and she gave me this visual. So it's like, this whole list at the general store of all the properties in the town that are for sale, and you're pulling up on your horse, and getting through the dust and going up and seeing what's listed. So you're saying this just listed out. It's, and what does that mean? So I'm a consumer. I get this postcard just listed. Yeah. What does that mean to me, really?
Yeah.
Right? You're okay. This person it's so much focused on us as agents and not about the customer. Now on the market, here it is, and here's why this is a newsworthy announcement, right? Here is the value, whatever that is. Now in the market, bum, 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 bum. As it's a first floor owner suite or whatever it happens to be, some type of value where, oh, this is something there other than the just listed.
Yeah.
And the just sold, it has, I mean, that by just sold, then it becomes so what, right? Just sold, so what?
Right.
And now if it's like it just sold, and by the way, the average home in our, market is X, and the neighborhood is X, and inventory is this. Now you're educating the consumer a little more. Now it's like that does add value.
Did this sale that you just made in this community, did it bring up the house values? What did that do to them? What did it do for them, the neighbor? If you explain it to them like that in a marketing piece or something like that.
Yeah.
That's great. That's right. Yeah. Okay. I want to know that my house value has gone up X amount or whatnot potentially because of this sale. That could be big. But a lot of agents, we were all trained in the traditional way of sending, just make your touch points per year. And it doesn't matter what it is, just make sure that you let people know you're a realtor,
a phone call, a text,
just let them know you're this and that. So a lot of it was like a monthly market update in the email, right? That would be a big one. And it's just like a lot of times we're just pulling like national, data from a market update or whatnot. And I just think it's funny because it's like, when I opened up my eyes to this, different way, this now marketing, it's like, we all think about being, a home expert and things like that, but we're more than that. We're also community experts. So like what's going on in the community?
Yeah.
Like talk about that. No one's really talking about, it's us realtors. Most of us are not talking about what's going on in their community. That's valuable to people. You want to be a community expert and you need to know your home statistics in the community.
Yeah, you want to provide value. And I love how the way you said it up before about, we were taught and drilled in our heads and it worked for a while, before it became too noisy, which is like, okay, I'm going to do X amount of touches per year. They're going to be like this and like this. That whole perspective is flipped, meaning now we've got to think about stuff to fill that void.
Yeah.
Right. So now I got to come up with like, oh, it's July. I don't know. What do I say to people on a postcard here? Hi, happy 4th.
Happy 4th of July.
That's okay. I mean, the point is, it's the perspective is like if it's like you have this schedule, and also now you got to like fill it with, and by definition, you're going to fill it with junk, as opposed to the mindset of saying, it is my job to share this great information with out there, right? As a real estate agent, that's how we should be thinking. As a real estate agent, it's I'm almost stealing if I don't share this information. I've got this great community information.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's how many times a year. You're not trying to check a box.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like, I've got this and I feel like I'm almost stealing by not sharing it. Or I'm not, it's almost like I violated the code of ethics because I haven't filled that void or I haven't provided that information out there as opposed to just checking a box.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about like, we just passed Labor Day. So think about that as a realtor. We would all send, enjoy your Labor Day weekend or happy Labor Day or whatnot. Think about this. How did you feel on Labor Day weekend when you're going through your inbox and you're just deleting like, oh my goodness, I got 100, people just telling me have a good Labor Day and they're just all spam emails. It's just all, it's just like, so how did that make you feel? Did it give was there any benefit or really how many unsubscribes did you do that weekend?
Right. So, I love that example because it's like happy Labor Day. Well, one, people don't even know it other than the kind of the last official weekend of summer. Right?
Yeah.
So what is it? Happy, we're thankful. We're supposed to be thankful for the workforce, but like the vast majority of us aren't even, okay, right?
School's about
and a lot of us with kids are like, right. A lot of us kids are kind of like, it's happy Labor Day because now the work starts, right? Because now my schedule's going to be back to routine, which there is some benefit to that. But but you're right, that adds no like.
Right, they're just emails, like they're pointless emails, and it really just makes maybe other people feel differently about it, but for me, it's just more like, oh my goodness, just more emails to delete or unsubscribe from, and it's just that's just really what it is.
And there's ways to take happy Labor Day and do it where it adds value. Right?
Yeah, sure.
I didn't do that this year, but I'm sure a lot of us did, where it's like, okay, and it's not a postcard saying happy Labor Day, but maybe it's something more where it's a real talking about, a family member's rise or whatever it happens to be, or a family member's service. And I'm just saying that as an example, but point is there's ways to have now marketing, even with like an old archaic approach.
Yeah, really there is. Yeah. It's just make it more personal and make it more, maybe put some effort into the piece, not just, some service you subscribe to and just blast out.
You got the nice,
you don't even know what it really says.
Right.
I mean, that's probably what most people,
it is what a lot of us
being sent out. They don't even know what it says.
Well, and I think the thing is that we had this thing where we didn't, as agents, we tended not to do anything.
Yeah.
right? So we weren't touching our sphere enough, and that's probably still the case, right?
Yeah.
But let's assume whatever. But we weren't doing enough, right? Then it was drilled in our head by some of the right brokerages, and this did work for a while, where it's like you need to do 242 touches a year, whatever it was, and it just becomes this game of, by definition, noise. And a lot of us did that, but now coming back where it's more about quality than quantity.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it is. It was because, it was more trained on, like you said, touch points. Like it's just more about capture somebody's email, send them a bunch of generic touch point messages. And that was like, that was in the past marketing where it's really kind of, it's dehumanizing almost in a way, right? Like we're now marketing is all about being human and treating people like humans and sending out stuff that's actually, we put something into.
Yeah.
And that's important. We have to just step up and say, we need to do this.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to take more time. It is, but this is important. And this means we actually care about our reach of who we're reaching out to.
Yeah. And it might not be for everyone, meaning like, let's just say that you're going to do an Instagram reel on how to, or on first time home buyers Instagram reel. That may not be for everyone, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Point being is that who your audience is, whatever the now marketing is. So like, for example, if some of my clients are a little bit older, they may not be on Instagram, right?
Right.
They may not care about interest rates as much.
Right.
They're more cared about, I'm going to buy a condo cash. I want to make sure it's got all the amenities I want, for example.
Yeah.
The point being is that part of the now marketing is just getting back to what we talked about originally, which is just value, creating value first.
Yeah.
Create value first. So you made a switch recently from kind of the old school marketing, geographic farming, to all in on video.
Yeah. So, all in on video, value content, and social media platforms.
And how do you think that's going to, I guess, why did you make the decision? And then how do you think it's going to transform your business?
I think that, so one is cost. So the cost of doing video and utilizing social media platforms is so much better. It's very minimal. And it's like historic, like meaning if you post a video, it's always out there. So if you use a searchable platform like YouTube or TikTok, it's always there. So if you post a piece of content out there, it's working for you every day for years. Where if you send a mailer out there, it's more of a mailer. I did a geographic farm, mailing a town twice a month. That was more about positioning my Brian Vance in people's minds.
You did a great job with that. I mean, it worked.
Yeah, it's just that it's very costly, and when you stop, it's over with. And at the end of the day, did it make me feel great about what I'm putting out there? The one piece every month is valuable. It's just a list of the solds in the city, which people did like. But it's only valuable to people that are interested in that. And then the just sold, which I don't think is super valuable piece. And that's what I would do. And it was just, doesn't make you feel great about yourself. If now I'm making videos about what's going on in that town and, what are those businesses in town and what's coming to that town? What, are there jobs coming to that town? Are there, any kind of big building plans happening in that town? That's valuable to the client.
It is.
Yeah. That's, people want to know about their community. People buy a house and they're buying a community.
Yes.
And that's what it is. So it's not just a house, it's a community that you're buying in.
I love what you said. So, so much in the past it wasn't evergreen. There was no continuity that went on. So it's like if you send someone a postcard, they got it, they remembered it. And once you stopped, maybe they remembered it. But once you stopped, it was over.
Yeah.
No different than a old school letter or anything else, or even calls, where it's like that a video will last forever. And I heard a story recently. It's actually from my coach. He said that, and he's got a small team in Arizona. He posted a YouTube video, nothing fancy, just kind of benefits of moving to an area.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, and he said it's about 5 years ago. No, 5 years ago, and he got a call like recently. Hey, can you help us? I forget if it was a buyer or seller, it doesn't matter. But it get that much longer. And that's where it lives on, right? And that's where you can create the brand. You created a brand by doing your mailers, but you came to the point where, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're still doing that. And I don't want to say it was noise, because it was still working, but it came to the point like you had to keep investing that amount of money. Yeah. And now in this noisier world, you probably had to figure out a way to invest more to keep your rate of return up.
Yeah, would have. Yeah.
If that's more, whatever, more frequency or.
Yeah, because it wasn't, and that's what I figure. I, in my belief, the whole traditional approach and traditional brokers in general, it's the growth was halting.
Yeah,
there was you weren't seeing it growing anymore. It was just kind of halting. So that's where I was like, this is interesting. There's a lot of other, agents that are understanding now marketing at a high level, and they're growing massively.
Yeah, I think that's the exciting part as agents, right? If we can figure out how to. No, it is all about scale. And that doesn't mean that we all have to build mega teams.
No.
Right? It just means that how do we get more than just out of our, how do we get more of the army of one?
Yeah.
And I think part of that scaling is the video. And I think it just gives us that much.
In video, it personalizes things, right? Mm-hmm. So where I was just sending out a picture of myself, which did good, but nowhere near what video is doing. Video, you're almost building a relationship with that person on video, and they've never met you. Yeah. So the trust and if they can tell whether they like you or not through video.
Right.
They can't tell that through the picture.
And we may not be for everyone, right? I mean, all of us know that as agents, we're either some people we're gonna click with, some we won't, as buyers or sellers and clients, and that's okay.
Well, that's it's actually a really good part about it, because then you do get the people, you're working with people you want to work with.
That's right. Because they're attracted.
They're like-minded people. So
if we view our marketing, right, as now marketing, we're either going to on two lanes, right? Either we're going to go relationship or educate, right? And I think that's and what video does, it just powers each.
Yeah.
So like if I'm gonna, when I say educate, if I'm gonna give a market update, right? If I'm doing it through video, that's gonna be much more powerful, right? And I'm developing the relationship. The other piece, I'm developing the relationship where I can just basically someone's gonna get to know me.
Yeah.
And again, it just that whole vibe attracts your tribe. There is this nice sorting. And I think for us in this noisy market, that is the way to, strategy-wise, is that video first kind of strategy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So is there anything else in terms of now market you're thinking about, obviously beyond the video first kind of strategy, anything else that you think would be a tip for us to work with kind of going forward?
I think we covered it. I mean, it's a lot more about, just thinking of what's, the big thing you have to think about is every time you're putting out a piece of marketing material, what's in it for them versus what's in it for me, right? Mm-hmm. So what's in it for them, not what's in it for me. You got to really think hard about each piece and what you're sending out. But other than that, I think we hit pretty much, a lot of the, points of that. Unless you think,
no, I think that probably sums it up, right? Where it's because we're so, at least myself are, and I think I'm not alone. I think a lot of us as agents are so used to just, I don't want to say having to be about us. But we are so more, we're not that client or consumer centric perspective that we need.
Yeah.
And I think that's great advice. Just pause and say, okay, what's in it for them? What is in it for them? How am I creating value?
Yeah.
Right. What's the ad here? Or am I just checking a box?
Right.
I think the other thing, this is probably a topic for, another episode, but it's, if someone's new to video, right? And I don't want to say that now marketing is video marketing, because now marketing is more about what's in it for the consumer, right? As we talked about.
Right.
But so much is going to be video, obviously, right?
Yeah. It's a huge component.
And obviously we're going to get to this in a future episode, but what would you say to the agent that's like, oh, I just don't want to do video? And that's probably, public speaking is what? The number one fear in America. Number two, and I would call this basically public speaking, right?
Yeah.
Video. What would you say to that agent?
The best thing you can do is get on your camera phone every day and just start taking videos.
Practice?
Yeah. Anytime you have, think about it. Whenever you have a good idea or something good running through your head, just film yourself talking about it. And you'll get better and better at it. And then you don't need to post these videos. You just have to, this is practice. You're getting used to talking to the camera. You're kind of journaling your ideas in your phone, right? Anyway, so anytime you have a good idea that could be of value to someone, just practice by taking a video by yourself on your phone and over time, you're going to get more comfortable with it.
That's great.
I think if you stick with that discipline, taking that little videos here and there every day, you'll get really good really fast.
Well, thank you. And we'll see you next week.